You are watching America Trends, where we cover all the hot topics of the day. I'm Barry Nussbaum, filling in tonight for Dr. Gina. Remember, our poll question tonight: should the Iran nuclear deal be canceled? Go vote. U2America.com or the U2 America app. Download it if you haven't done it already. Joining me tonight from Florida is Tom Trento. Tom is an authority on Islamic ideology and radical Islam. He's the co-author of the book Sharia, The Threat to America. You can find Tom at theunitedwest.org. Good to have you here, Tom, my buddy from Florida. Let's get going.
Great to be here.
So you went on a mission to Israel. What was the purpose of this trip? Who went? Why'd you do it? Tell us about it.
Yeah, Israel is ought to be and is America's #1 national security partner. So each year, maybe twice a year sometimes, I take a small group of Zionists. You can be Jewish, you can be Christian, you can be anything, you got to be a Zionist. And I take folks there that are usually in some sort of leadership position and bring them deeply into the intelligence and military community in Israel to equip them to come back, stand with Israel in these very, very difficult days.
So I talked to you about it briefly since you've been back. You went literally all over the country. Tell us about where you went in the north, close to the Syrian civil war. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, our mission focuses on the hot spots in Israel. That's where there's potential problems. That's where the Northern Command and the IDF and the Southern Command are focused. And right now, Barry, and all your viewers out there, the IDF is preparing for a war, probably a northern war, on the northern front from the Lebanese border over on the west over to the Golan. And we bring our people right up to the border, and we bring them to a kibbutz in Misgav Am in the northeast corner of Israel. And you're about 100 yards from the flags of Hezbollah that's funded by Iran. Then we go a little further to the east and south, and we're in a little town, a little area of Kunitra, and you can listen to the bombs about 30 kilometers away in Damascus. And you know, you get up close and personal with this stuff. You look at the topography, the geography, and you realize that Israel can never, ever, ever give up the Golan. It would be ridiculous.
I'm not arguing with you, Tom, my friend. I've been there with my family. I've stood in the exact spot in Kunitra that you're talking about, and if they give that back, there's going to be missiles raining down into the Galilee probably in the first weekend.
Absolutely. And then, you know, all the hullabaloo to give the Golan back, which is never going back, but make believe, you know, somehow it goes back. Within a week or two is exactly what you said. The jihadis will start doing their crazy stuff again, and then the Israelis got to go back and occupy their own land once again. It's comical, and the Israelis need to forget about world opinion at this point. This world is chaotic. This world is in a downward spiral. The Israelis need to enhance their security, forget about peace, focus on security.
I can't argue with you, my friend. Did you make it down to the south near Gaza?
Yeah, several trips before we've gone all the way down to Elad and, you know, down in the Negev and all that. But on this past trip, we were in a little town of Kibbutz Saad and Sderot, those places. But this little kibbutz, our escort officer, Dan Gordon, who's an IDF soldier, 43 years in the IDF, also a Hollywood film producer, he was based there during Operation Protective Edge, the summer of 2014. So he took us back there to the families that he was embedded with and with the Golani Fighting Brigade, the Golanis. And we had some very interesting stories. And we also saw a tunnel that was 1,500 meters away from this kibbutz that held a lot of children. And if it wasn't for the providence of God, a fabulous story, the jihadis would have come through that tunnel and slaughtered as many people as they possibly could. But it did not happen this time.
No kidding. Wow, what a story. I heard you got briefed by some of the Israeli legendary war heroes, a couple generals, I think.
Yeah, our work is on national security, and we've developed relationships with many people. Two in particular on this last trip, General David Every. David Every is currently the president of Boeing International in Israel, but 50 years ago, he was actually 35 years ago now, he was the commander of Operation Opera, which was the attack on the Baghdad nuclear reactor in Osirik, and he led that command. Fascinating story. He briefed us on his work back then in the IAF now. And then we had an opportunity to be with General Avigdor Kahalani. He is a renowned hero of the 73 battle in the Golan, the tank battle, and he briefed us on the situation occurring now, and the Merkavas, the Merkava 4s. Those tanks are a little different than the tanks he had in 1973. But Israel is preparing right now for a conflagration, probably in southern Lebanon, which could be very, very bad.
Wow. So in terms of cooperation between the U.S. and Israel, I'm hearing stories from people in Israel that it's never been better from a military perspective. From Israel's perspective, is there enough give and take between us and Israel for defense of Israel?
The Israelis would prefer a better political relationship. The political relationship with Obama is
sure.
There is no political relationship. It's horrendous. Anything said publicly is just for diplomatic reasons. But from a military point of view, the soldiers in the United States and the soldiers there understand the threat of Islamic Jihad, and we have a very unique working relationship, and some of the stuff is publicized, some isn't. In fact, right now, special operators from the United States and Israel are propping up the government of Jordan. I think most people understand that.
Sure.
But hopefully the next administration will improve the political relationship between the two countries.
Yeah, I don't know if it can get worse from a political perspective, and I don't think anyone would argue with that. So, United West, what does the United West do, your organization, to help stand with Israel?
Well, we're a counterterrorism educational organization. We have 4 objectives: defend the Constitution, defend Israel, defeat Islamic Jihad, defeat the policies of Obama. So in terms of fighting the jihad,
we've got to leave it there. People can go to your website. Let's go find Tom, and if you want to read more about him, he's available. Up next, go to your social media comments here, and more American Trends coming up right after this. Go vote in our poll,
yes,
please.